let's move a little bit towards domestic politics, and I think these are all dovetailing. And I will start with the current government, both sides, the legislature and the executive. But before that, looking at the setup of the stage in Iraq, the last election witnessed a departure from the old tripartite political system where ethno-sectarian groups have worked within their own groups to come to Baghdad or go to Baghdad and work as ethno-sectarian groups.
Right.
We have now two coalitions. Each one of them has a mix of all of the ethno-sectarian backgrounds, and it seems that it altered the politics in Baghdad a little bit when it comes to government formation, the workings of the parliament. Right. That you will tell us. You are inside the parliament better than I can ever know. So two questions on that. Are we closer to seeing an arrangement where we would have a government and an opposition, especially that at least one bloc in Iraq, Al-Hikma, announced that it is becoming a coalition that is in the opposition and then inviting others to join? Right. Is that likely to be a durable situation? And also, how is it working now that you have two major blocs that are not pushing for specific geographic or even ethno-sectarian groups? How is the parliament different? I know this is your first term in parliament, but you've been watching parliament very well and you know it better. Right. So if you can just describe that for us.
Well, as you mentioned, just for others who may not follow details or past terms in Baghdad, the past 3 terms of parliament in Iraq has been shaped by big blocs of ethnic groups and sectarian groups. We had the Kurdistan Alliance group, which was all of the Kurdish political parties, especially the 2 big parties, were part of it, united. And then we had the Iraqi coalition, which was the Shia groups were part of it, and then Al-Iraqiyya, which was the Sunnis. But that's gone in this term. I mean, we disappeared. They completely disappeared. There is no unified Kurdish alliance, which I really fully support that. We don't need to be united as ethnic groups. We need to be united based on principles and values. I have more in common with Sairun, for example, than with KDP, which is a rival in Kurdistan. We consider ourselves an opposition to Kurdistan Regional Government, which is headed by KDP. And also the Shia also kind of divided. We have Sairun. There are Islamist, non-Islamist, Shia, Sunni, everybody part of it, and also other blocks. Then we made the 2 big blocks, Islah and Bina. So far, Islah and Bina, 2 blocks are, they are trying to function as 2 united blocks. They are functioning as 2 politically working better than in parliament. So outside of the parliament, the head of the political parties, they see these blocks as their platform. I mean, that's a positive thing. However, inside parliament, everybody goes back to it is small groups. Each person, they have their own agenda, and it's not as united as you see from far. Because this is just new. I mean, we are not used to it, and it is more diverse than before. They are not divided based on ethnic and sectarian lines, which is remarkable, and I hope that continue. But it is far from it to be like we have the Republican and Democrat here, so like 2 separate groups. With regard to the opposition, I think one of the issues we had with Iraq's democratic process is the lack of opposition groups. And the idea of opposition publicly also to many people is really new in Iraq. When they think of opposition, and just a couple of days ago I saw an Iraqi-based, a US-based Iraqi journalist in Washington, and he asked me how Al-Hikma become an opposition if they are in parliament. I said that this is where they can be in opposition.
Yes.
I think in an opposition, it means like you'll be out of the country, like before Iraqi oppositions. And their opposition to state is different than opposition to the cabinet. They are opposition to the cabinet, not to the state. They are not against the state. But it is still, for people it's new, and also for Al-Hikmah themselves, it's a new experience. And I hope they will succeed, but it will face some challenges because the government is not, the prime minister and the government in general is not fully supported by one certain group, like one group that is we had before, Dawlat, State of Law, Dawlat Qanun, or the Da'wah Party. And so you don't know who is your basically opponent, who are you fighting. If you ask Al-Hikmah, they will tell you they're not against Abdul Mahdi, maybe not completely against him, but they have some issues with some certain policy in the government. So it's going to be challenging to form a truly an opposition group that can function and can hold government accountable. But we have an opposition parliament in general. Yeah. Nobody is saying that nobody is taking responsibility for the government. Nobody is taking the burden of the government failures when it comes to some certain issues. Because this government, we have more non-sectarian, non-politicians in the government, in the cabinet. We have more technocrats, people coming abroad and coming from outside of the political parties, less political parties, head of the political parties or political figures in the cabinet. So it is not seen, it's difficult to target, for example, Minister Khatib, electricity, so which political party he belongs to. It is not very clear. Or the other ministries also. So, but the entire parliament can hold government accountable, which we did a couple times. We held hearings, and there is no government officials, including the prime minister, who is saying no when he is asked to